at voicing my opinion, because my opinion does matter, and I need to voice my opinion and how I feel. It does matter, and I would always shy away from that. So I was bullied. Hey guys, what it is? It's your girl Cadillac, and I am back. It is Saturday, let's see, what's today? The 27th. And Black History Month is coming to an end. Like that quick. And being a YouTuber, I'm trying to keep up with the trends, and I just was not able to. Like I'm doing too many different things, but I'm doing some good things. I'm doing some good things. But it does prevent me from staying like current. So Black History Month is almost over. So I got to get it in my little bit of Black history, even though it is not just limited to February. Black people create history all the time, like for real. And I'm trying to create some history. I was trying to be, actually, the first part of this video, I'm going to show you my new project that I have that's under Project Reach the World. And it is my magazine. I have a magazine. I told y'all I have a magazine that I was telling you about, I believe the beginning of February, but February went so quick. But it was a project that I had to do in my layout class. My layout class was crazy. This class, I was scared to take it because layout is very intensive. It takes a lot of work, a lot of skill. And layout was always my weakness in graphic design area. So I struggled. Then I had the course on a campus, they call it the East Campus. It was way across town. So I would be flying over there Saturday mornings. I would work Friday nights, get off at 4:30 a.m. I would catch a nap in the parking lot because if I went home, I'm liable to oversleep and miss class. And most times I was nowhere near done with, my portion of the magazine that was due that week. So I would get home, take like an hour nap in a chair, and then I would be right up trying to work on my project and, get it before class. Because in school, like, they are so strict. They don't take anything late if you don't turn it in on time, which means when class starts. If it's not in the teacher's Dropbox, too bad for you. Hopefully, you can recover from a zero, which is very hard to do. Most times, you cannot recover from a zero. You're just going to repeat that whole course again. So that semester, they said we had to do a magazine, and she gave us different types of magazines we could do, like sports magazines. I didn't know if I wanted to do a hair magazine because I always wanted to compile my hair images into a magazine. I really didn't know what type of magazine I was feeling. So she had a suggestion of a family magazine, and I'm like, yeah, that's good because I'm a very family oriented person. I could have did like a parenting magazine or something like that. So my original magazine ended up being an alternative family magazine because my family is an alternative family. It's not the average family that you think of, but we are a family. So I wanted to do an alternative family magazine. And family magazines are usually like bright and happy and bouncing babies and teething toddlers. And I wanted to do a magazine that dealt with the not so happy parts of parenting and familyhood. So it was an alternative. So the cover was basically my story being a prison wife and then having my child, her father being incarcerated And I had another section where I was dealing with, I myself, as a child, a teen, I dealt with depression. Back in the 90s, when I did deal with the depression as a child, it was not really talked about like that. Like, I went through, like, I would always be locked up in my room by myself. I was bullied. I was bullied. And it was to the point where I don't know, I would always just spend hours upon hours locked up in the room by myself. I didn't eat with the family, my parents and my siblings. I would get my food, run back up in my room, and the only like happiness I had was creating things, drawing. That's all I used to do back then, because that was the only way people accepted me, because I was that girl that can draw. Other than that, I was, bullied. I was called Scarface. If you want to know why they called me Scarface, you're going to have to check out my Draw My Life. I'll link that in the description box. But yeah, I got this nickname Scarface that I could not live down for nothing. So I was bullied. People threw rocks at me. It was crazy. And then I'm a shy individual, and I'm not very like assertive, which over the years I have always tried to work on that, and I'm getting better and better and better at voicing my opinion, because my opinion does matter, and I need to voice my opinion and how I feel. It does matter. And I would always shy away from that. So I was bullied. I went through depression. So I did a little section about teens being depressed. And my daughter actually went through depression during school time, because she would see all these different her friends and stuff. They would have both parents. Even if they didn't have both parents, they had like a stepdad or something. Like, it was just me. Like, I didn't have men around my daughter. I didn't even really date like that. I kind of did, like, when he first went to prison. I think I was looking for that love that I lost in him. I was looking for it somewhere else, which I didn't find it. And I quickly realized, hey, you in love with Marcello, just take several seats and just, let's get him home. So, yeah, I didn't have men around my child like that. Like, if I had random boyfriends, but it was nothing ever, nothing serious. Maybe a date here, a date there, stuff like that. But I should do some little story times about my life outside of prison life, prison wife life, if you would like to know, because your girl done came a long way. Came a long way. But yeah, so depression, then it's like things dealing with children, like the not so happy times, like when they're teething and stuff like that. So I wanted to do an alternative, not all that happy bright coloring and this and that. So I had like drab, dark dramatic colors and dark purples, and those were my color palettes. And the teacher looked at my magazine and she was like, this, huh, a family magazine? It's too dark. And I'm like, yeah, I know. She wanted me to make the bright, fun, bright background. I couldn't do that. That's not what I was feeling. So the cover of it ended up being this picture, this great picture. Oh my gosh, I love this picture that I found off the internet. I did credit the picture, but this is not my picture. But I did so much photoshopping to it that you would think it was mine. The only thing I need to do now is cut the person's picture out and put our picture on there, and then that's going to be the cover. Yes. So that magazine was really nice. Like, I refined it because I think I do way too much. And the teachers always told me that. They're like, at a certain point, in graphic design, less is more. The less almost that you do, the better your project looks. And I never quite could understand, or that wouldn't click. So I had a first layout of the magazine, which I loved. And the teacher was like, this is way too much. Like, I had stuff in the background, stuff in the foreground, just stuff. Anything I could find, I had in there. There were so many great pictures. This was finally a topic I wanted to talk about. And I did way too much. So I had to refine it, which it still was on the edge of being too much. But she said, "You're cool. It's good. It's nice." It made my portfolio, my graphic design portfolio, in the end. And so, thinking about it, I was like, maybe a couple weeks ago, I was at work, and I work in the laundry room. I haven't quite got that graphic design job yet. My internship fell through with the pandemic. So I'm still, needless to say, doing laundry. So as I am hanging pants after pants after pants, that is when I just get my little think on. Like I can really think then. And I was like, hey, why don't I make a family magazine that is about prison life, like prison life, and tell all our stories that nobody knows? Because the thing is, going through this journey with Marcello, and seeing how it affected my child, seeing how it affected me, seeing how it affects Marcello, because he's the one directly affected by the prison system, where like, what do you call those? Uh, what's a good word to call it? Indirectly affected by the prison system. Me and my daughter are indirectly affected, but Marcello is directly affected by the prison and justice system. So I was like, it's hard to tell these stories because, number one, society would like you to think that the justice system is completely fair, and that the prison system is completely fair, and they're locking up the bad guys. There are some bad guys there. Yes, I'm not even gonna front. There's some bad guys in prison. But it's not even really, the prison system became something that is not even about good and bad, or doing the right thing, or punishment and rehabilitation. It's not about that. It's almost like a whole chess game that's going on behind the scenes. And we don't even, society does not know. So they automatically think if you have anything to do with the prison system, you're bad. Your family member is bad. Your family member is, or yourself, you're not, you can't fit into society. You're like these misfits, and that, we need to protect our outside good citizens from you bad citizens. And that is completely not even what the prison or justice system is. And no, and the thing is, it's hard for people to not think that way. The first thing you're gonna hear is, well, he shouldn't have did the crime if he couldn't do the time. Like that's, oh, you be wanting to smack somebody when they say that. Yes. But I've always been told that I have a good, like I am very good at holding my temper, and I can keep a straight face, and I be wanting to knock the heck out of you, but I have a straight face. Yes, I have a lot of patience. That is not what it's about. Like a lot of these things, it everything plays into the next. You can't just say they were bad people. A lot of people didn't have the same things growing up. Number one, money. Money is a big issue. When you grow up lacking money, a lot of times you do not get what people that had money had. Okay, single parent, two parents. A lot of times when boys come from single parents households, a lot of times that affects them when their father is not there. They're dealing with anger. Why wasn't he in my life? Why does mom have to struggle like this? Why? Like they're dealing with certain issues. They got to grow up faster. And like, I don't know, it's a lot of things. So you can't just like say these people were just bad. You don't know what their circumstances was. You don't know where they came from. And if you came from the same circumstances, how do you know? You might have been one of those persons that was in that prison system or justice system that we could be fighting for you. You don't know that. It could have been you. Oh my. I did do a song. I'll leave that to the end. It could have been me. Yes. But it could have been you. It could have been your son, your daughter. It could have been any of us. It could have been me. What if something happened and I was there? And I tried my whole life to play by the rules and do the right thing. It takes 1 second. One wrong decision can end you up in there. Your one decision. That means every decision you make, you better think about it. Think about your consequences. Because you don't know how it can play out. And if you ever end up in that system, you will see how fair it is. It's not. And we don't have a voice. They silence us. And then they replace our voice with images that they show everybody to let them think that this is right. This is how it should continue on. Yes, we need to get tougher on crime, and that's going to clean up our streets. Being tough on crime, being tough on crime. That means Orlando and Florida should be like the best place to ever come vacationing. Like, you should be able to leave your doors open and everything, as tough as they've been on crime. But let me tell you, them streets ain't like that. It's still crime going on, still people still. So it's not really helping. It's actually adding to it, because now you got this whole generation that my child then came up in, and a lot of them, they fathers are off in prison, and you wouldn't even believe it. Let me tell you, a lot of people that have a loved one in prison, they're embarrassed. And sometimes I feel it rear up in me, that embarrassment. But I always think, number one, I think God prepared me for this. That's why I had to be that outcast. That's why I had to be bullied and not allowed to fit in. I couldn't fit in if I tried to fit in. So now I don't even want to fit in. I'm different as different can be, and I don't want to be like other people. Like, I want to be who I am. And I think by God taking me through those things, that bullying, that shunning that I went through, I think about it and I'm like, well, I'm still going to stand up for what I believe in. Whether you stand up, whether you stand up, whether you stand up, I'm going to stand up, because this is what I believe in. And I believe this is the right thing. So for a lot of people dealing with the prison system, they're embarrassed. And the thing is, our voices get silenced, and we don't know how to tell our stories. There's nowhere really to go, especially when I was introduced to the justice system. There really was nowhere. But now we have online communities. Now online does censor the heck out of you. Censor. So you cannot say everything that you want to say, need to say. You can't communicate everything. It is blocked. So it's still these, boundaries you got to play in. And some kind of way you got to get your message across. I don't know how. It's very tricky. But we do have social media that is showing a lot of the real. And without social media, I think we would always still have the straightforward news media that be trying to feed people stuff sometimes that ain't even all the way what it really is. Like, always analyze what you see. Think about it. Does it really sound right to you? Think deeper. Put yourself in that person's position or in they shoes, and you know what I'm saying? And come up with your own conclusion. Don't let nobody form your conclusion for you. Form your own conclusion. And that's how I am, because I was outcasted. I didn't know how to come to conclusions with other people because, heck, I wasn't even around other people like that. So you go through being embarrassed. Do I tell people that my loved one is there? But how do you get help if you don't tell somebody you need help? So though it rears up sometime, I'm embarrassed, but hey, I need help. This person might know this person that know that person that know that person that can help me. So I need to tell you some type of way. I need to tell you. Plus, I'm shy. So most time I'm going to tell you through my artwork. I'm going to tell you through a song. I'm going to tell you through, you know what I mean? Like for years, I've been on Facebook and my profile pic is with a person in a prison like outfit. And we like kind of booed up, booed up. Anyway, like so it's kind of awkward being in your class, like you're in college and a lot of your assignments are due and you have the profile picture as you would an inmate. You know them question marks popping people's head like what the hell am I, who am I sitting next to? Like who is this girl? But girl, look, once you know me, once you get to know me, I am the most honest, trustworthy, trustworthy person you probably ever would meet in life. Genuine, genuine person. And tend to get stereotyped. And I want real stories from real people dealing with this system. We don't have to be ashamed no more because we love people that are incarcerated or have been incarcerated. We don't have to be ashamed anymore. They should be ashamed what they're doing to society, but they're not. So we don't need to be ashamed. I want to tell our stories. I would like to tell other people's stories. Other people submit their stories to this magazine. So I'm formulating some stuff. I'm gonna let y'all know how it works. But the first issue, I put it together because Lobby Day did happen. Lobby Day was different this year because of social distancing. Usually it is one day that you everybody goes to Tallahassee, the state capital here in Florida, and would come to the Capitol and just gather together and have their signs and protesting and this, we want this bill, we need change on this, we need this is an issue and stuff like that because the committees are forming bills that could change things and change laws and stuff. So that's the time to rally together to get your point across. But they did it different this year because it's social distancing. So everything was basically done by like TV. The committees would be in whatever, I don't know if it's courtroom or building, state building, wherever they were, and you would come to the civic, it was like a civic center or something like that, and it was a big open room, everything social distance, every chair in front of you is 6 feet apart from the chair in front of behind you, and the chair to the left of you is 6 feet apart, and the chair to the right of you is 6 feet apart. Everybody spread out, but they maybe 20 people could fit in this big open room with chairs or whatever, and you can get up and tell your loved one's story or how these bills that we're suggesting could affect your loved one coming home. Or it's like putting a face to mass incarceration. See, the problem with mass incarceration deals with numbers. And I think I said that before. Who cares about a number? Marcello is X388, blah, blah, blah. That's a number. But he's not an X388, blah, blah, blah. He is Marcello Jackson. You understand? They don't even call them by their names. They call them inmate or their DC numbers. So they make them a number. And who cares about crunching numbers? Mass incarceration is about crunching numbers. But these numbers represent people, human lives, people that were born into this world, people that will die, people that breathe like you, that sweat like you, that everything just like you. Are you a number? I'm not a number. I'm not a number. So, and I'm not a color. I'm a human. So don't even categorize me by color either. I'm not a color. I'm not a number. I am a human being. Marcello is a human being. So if they start seeing them as human and seeing how it's affecting humans out here, and my daughter that's a human, and others that are humans, maybe they'll be like, well, maybe this is not what we should be doing. Maybe we should be trying to rehabilitate humans, because you're not going to try to rehabilitate a number. And you already think they should be X'd out of society anyway, right? So you really don't care what happens to them. So it's to put a face to it. And this was the first time my daughter, she came. I was there. I got to tell my story. We actually talked to committee members and senators and stuff over via Zoom, and you would tell your story. We didn't tell our story at the big like committee town hall, but one on ones with committee members and senators and stuff. We would have like a group of five, and we would tell our stories. It was like two mothers there telling their stories of their sons that they birthed into this world. That's their baby. That's like my baby, my big baby. Can you imagine your baby? That's your baby. That's your heart. That's you. You care about that baby more than you care about yourself. Can you imagine your child going into this system as a child and your baby not getting out until they almost old and ready for the grave? A child ain't even fully developed until they probably like far into they 20s. And I think a lot of stuff affects children, just like all this media affects children. Music affects children. Watch the music that's out. What do you think they're trying to do in this music? That's why when I was I believe music gets surpassed what words. I can tell you something and you just hear it and barely touch you. I can rap you or sing you something and I can touch your soul. I can touch your soul with a poem. You could feel exactly where I'm coming from. So you trying to tell me music is not powerful? Music is very powerful. Very. And they use that power. They do. They do. They do. They know kids are influenceable at certain ages. They know that. And they use it to kind of guide your child towards this direction. And if you don't be careful, oh, anyway. Whew. Anyway, so there's a lot of things that influence children, like they call it the school to prison pipeline. A lot of things that influence that. And had two mothers tell those stories. That, oh my gosh, that is very emotional hearing a mother talk about their child. Me, I tell the story of my husband, daughter of my father. I mean, my father. Father of my daughter. I tell that story, and they think that's, oh, baby mama drama. No, baby. He was my soulmate. That one person, once in a lifetime person, like a Leo, one in a million type person that is not replaceable. I haven't found a replacement for Marcello as yet because there is not one. So I tell that story. And then you hear my daughter, a 19-year-old. Ironically enough, she's the same age he was when he went to prison. And she has this baby face. Now, she done got herself tatted all up. Now, I need to do a whole nother story time about that. Because I do got a few issues about all these tattoos and where she's putting them in. But I had to think about it. I'm like, she trying to keep up with her daddy. They got all the tattoos, and I'm like, ooh. But that's a whole nother story. I'm not against tattoos, nothing like that. It's just, we'll do that story time a little later. But yeah, but she still has the baby face, the exact same age Marcello was when he went to prison. and the same age I was. Well, I was 20. I'm a little bit older than Marcella. I was 20, and I look at her and think, what would she do if she had a baby under her arm and her boyfriend or husband was just gone for God knows when? Like, looking at how young she is, like she was just a teenager the other day. That's where I was. And I can't believe, because when you're 19, you think you're growner than everybody. I didn't realize how young I was dealing with this. Like, I was a baby dealing with this issue. My husband, he's a baby. He was a baby dealing with this issue. So you're putting into perspective. And of course, she tells the story. She tells one senator, I think he was a senator, the story of, I never got to go to daddy daughter dances with my. First, she says that she was here on behalf of her father, who was incarcerated shortly after she was born. She grew up visiting him in prison. That's how they were able to, through prison, through, visits, through letters, through now emails, but that's very recent that emails were added for us. Like maybe the last couple of years we've been doing emails. But that's how she knows her dad, honestly, through that. And that was the only way that they had a bond. And she told this senator, I never got to go to a daddy daughter dance with my father, ever. I never got to go to any school function with my father. And I think that really touched that senator because he was like, I have a daughter. I could completely, like, now you see how it becomes relatable. He has a daughter. Can he imagine him not being in his daughter's life, or how his daughter could, you know, see how it puts it to perspective when we tell our stories. So I pressed and pressed that whole weekend. It seems like every time I try to do something, like stupid stuff just pops out the woodwork. I attribute that to the devil just trying to keep me off my course. Anytime something seems like I'm supposed to be doing this, things from the side just come and try to knock me out the way and keep me off, get me to feeling depressed or getting me to feeling like it's not hopeful or this, and that. So I don't finish. But I pressed through and I created the first issue of Family United magazine, The Ups and Downs, Battling the Blues. Actually, that title was for the depression with the teens, but that sounds like really perfect for battling DOC, the blues, battling the blues. Yes. Spring 2021, Family United magazine. My feature article is Bars Between Us. A parent may be out the picture, but they're never out the heart. Let me tell you one thing. I wasn't, when I first started graphic design, I was not the best. I worked so hard because think about it, I'm a 80s baby. And I did not grow up with all this different being exposed to media, this, and this and that. So when I first went to school, like everything for me that I thought was good was they would call it dated. No, that's not good. No, you can't do that. So I was so discouraged. It was to the point where I was going to quit graphic design because I couldn't do anything. Like it seemed like everything I did was wrong. So the one thing that they always said I was good at was coming up with punchlines and awesome titles. Like sometimes the text that I would write, my teacher would be like, um, the design can use a lot of words, but who wrote the copy? And I'll be like, I wrote it. And she was like, oh my God, this is really funny. Like, it's light, it's good. Like, you're a great writer. I always wrote the best, like, titles and stuff like that. So, yes, so that's mine. Bars Between Us. A parent might be out the picture, but not out the heart. Then I have Missing Milestones. This was a new area I stuck in there. So the only part that was prison related was the cover. and then it was the feature article. Now the total magazine is related to families dealing with the prison system and different issues that's within it. I want people to kind of submit me their stories so that I can like put them in my magazine, and I want to compile an email list that I can get start circulating this magazine through email form, you know. And then I got the last article, Daddy's Gone. So I kind of filled this magazine with my story and my daughter's story, my family's story. But you know, each issue will change. It'll be another person's story and another person's story. So I have the table of contents page. That needs some more work, but I was trying to rush. Then I got the in-house ad, Family United magazine. Then I got contributor. Yeah, I can't even say what I got. Woo, let's turn this light on. Can't see. Oh, so contributors. Usually, this is the area where all the people that contributed everything go into the magazine. But I have contributors. It's all me slash it's all me because it is all me. You know, right now Cadillac is jack of all trades. So it's me, a big picture of me. That's my profile picture that I love. That picture, if you don't know the story behind that one, is that picture that I painted of Monica. I believe that's one of my best paintings. Like, I really love that picture. And it was a project Reach the World where I went to see Monica. But of course, she didn't get to, I was too far back and she didn't see the painting, so I didn't get it to her. Nothing like that. But it always, I thought, was my most beautiful painting. So this, we had to do a self portrait, and I kind of put a flower in my head like how Monica had in that picture. And I was like, can I wanted to see if I could, you know, the beauty of me, sometimes I think is only what I do. I don't see outside beauty in me. And can I be just as beautiful as my art? Am I just as beautiful as my art? Or is my art all that makes me beautiful? That's what I was trying to say with that, but you know, whatever. But it's Cadillac Dixon. Cadillac is an artist with art forms being fine artists, mediums being pencil, charcoal, acrylic, and oil paint, graphic and web designer, musician, songwriter, composer, and rapper, spoken word and performance poet, and lastly, licensed cosmetologist and hair artist. In this issue, Cadillac will discuss certain issues. Why I got a typo there? See that? Oh, that ain't no typo. I just can't see. Okay. Certain issues that come up when children have to deal with the incarceration of a parent. Cadillac's husband has been incarcerated since their almost 20-year-old daughter was 9 months old. She wants to take the things their daughter, and husband have endured and hopefully pave a way that is more fair and just than the way her family came. Yeah. See them little writing skills, y'all? Yes. I always love to write. Back in the day, I did contemplate being a journalist, but I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was in college the first time. I never did anything good except for like art. Like, I wasn't good at nothing else, it seems like. Like, I always was like, why do I have to be an artist? And like, why don't I have, like, my mother, she was so awesome. She did a lot of things, but the things that she did actually made money. Like, she was this very, like, she did taxes and she did like budgeting and stuff like that. She had just got her master's in business management right before she passed. She passed 6 months later after receiving her master's, and she was about to go for her doctorate. Yes. But the things that she went to school for were beneficial. Like, she can get out of school and get a job. Me, I was just a freaking artist. That's the only thing I can do good. And it's like with art, and music and everything. Everybody doesn't make it in those industries. It's a one in a million person that actually makes it with that stuff. And I kept saying, like, why can't I have a talent that actually can make me money and have me a living that I don't have to be running to? I always had to keep my base job and do my arts on the side, which my base job never fulfills my purpose. I feel like, because my purpose is art. I'm an artist. I don't know how to be anything else. So I did kind of contemplate being a journalist because I was always a good writer. So, but we have the little section opener: doing time together, single mother by force, not choice. That was actually a song title that I did. I'm a single mother by force, not choice. Yes, that's the type of music I tried to do. I always wanted to uplift people, and that song there, when that came out, it was crazy. I would go like to the WIC offices, and I would go to other places that, tend to have single mothers there, and I would try to talk to them and be like, you can do anything you want to do. Don't just settle for this. Let's come up. Let's try to. If anybody say they want to do something, I encourage them. You can do it. Like, see, I might not have been able to do it. I am a Gemini. They claim Geminis are geniuses, but they'll never make it because they need somebody outside themselves. Because it's like I have a missing puzzle piece, and whenever that puzzle piece is placed, do you understand what everything that I have done thus far could just work with that one? It's one piece missing. I don't even know what the piece is. It's something. There's some reason this doesn't formulate and come together how I imagine in my head. But I wrote that song, and I would go to WIC offices or food stamp offices and places like that, because I mean that's where the struggling mothers are. I know it from firsthand, and I would want to motivate them. Actually, which song I said I'm gonna do at the end? Single Mother by Force Not Choice. I think I ain't did that one in so long. But then I also told you I was gonna do Could Have Been Me. If you stick around, I'll do both. If you don't want to hear both, just click off when I'm done talking. I know everybody ain't into my rap, especially since hip hop done changed. Anyway, so the bottom says single motherhood not only takes a toll on the mother, it takes a toll on the children and the family as a whole, especially when it is not the parent's choice. Yes, that was never my choice to be a single mother. But you know what? When I was put in that role, that sure, I think I rose to the occasion. So the first article, Daddy Missed My Childhood. And this first article is about my daughter growing up without her father. And well, she did have him. He was in her life, but not physically all the time as much as we would have liked. But he was in her life. So my hero picture, my hero image is the left side is a card. When you have a loved one that's in prison, we all know we get those cards that they have somebody draw or paint. They'll give them some coffee bags or whatever for this artwork, because art is a commodity in prison. So that's one of the cards he sent me home for my daughter. I kind of cut me out the picture. And this is a picture of her and him, side by side. This is both of the pictures. The one that was drawn and my daughter. She seems to have this little gloomy look on her face, though. So it kind of does. And he has like a half smile. So I think it predicts, like, it shows the right emotion. Okay, growing up can become a very uncomfortable time for a child when one of she or he parents are in prison. All the child wants to know is why. Why do I have to go to visit daddy at his house and he never comes to our house? Yes, my daughter used to think the prison was daddy's house. She would say, when can we go visit daddy at his house? And she used to think that he worked there. Okay, the little caption picture of Demania and her father at visitation. Okay, this article is by Cadillac Dixon. So this video is getting too long, like usual. So I'm only going to read y'all the first article, and I'll save the other articles for another video. But this is my first, like, little articles. I forgot what they call these. They're not they're not feature articles. There's something else they call them. But right now I can't remember actual words. Demania Jackson's parents were so in love. They had just gave birth to this amazing little girl. Unbeknownst to them, that would be some of the last memories they would make as a family together. Just 9 months later, Demania's father, Marcello Jackson's life changed forever. Marcello was at the wrong place at the wrong time and ended up being accused in a crime that there was no tangible evidence of him committing. Marcello took his case to trial, believing after doing so his good. Oh, I can't see. And I'm trying to read with emotion and can't even see. Oh, Marcello took his case to trial, believing after doing so his good name would be cleared and his happy family could move on with life together. That would be furthest from what happened. Marcello lost his trial despite the lack of evidence. Prior to trial, Marcello was able to get out on bond and he became the full time babysitter and breadwinner for the family. Demania's and her father's bond grew tighter and closer. That is until at age 9 months when her father went to trial and was sentenced, surpassed what he should have been under the law then, 1020 life. Her father was sentenced to 3 times what he should have been under the law. That later would be deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. Nevertheless, Demania does not know what it is to spend a birthday, holiday, school function, or anything else with her father. Demania was just 9 months when she began visiting her father in jail. Visiting her father in jail, back then there was face to face, non contact visit at jail where Demania would jump at a several inch thick glass in attempts to get to her father. She would have this look upon her face like, why won't daddy get me? As she got older, she knew there was something different because daddy lived in this big house that they would spend hours to travel to, but for some reason he never came home with her. Around age 10 or 11 is when she realized what was happening. At this point, she would constantly ask her father, when are you coming home, daddy? Her father never had an answer for her because he did not ever want to give her that life shattering number they sentenced him to. Demania and her father and mother always held on to hope that one day her father's story would get out and someone would feel compelled to help them during this terrible time in life. Marcello, her father, tried everything he could, from appeals to habeas corpus to just trying to get news outlets and communities. What? To just trying to get news outlets and the community to listen. Needless to say, nothing relieved Marcello of his unjust sentence. Demania eventually grew up. Yeah, really? Can I read what's on this paper? Demania eventually grew colder and more distant. She would go through problems at school, and the counselors and teachers would not know what to do. There were many times that Demania would just burst out into tears. When asked what was wrong with her, she would say she just wants her father. Why does all the other kids have fathers and she doesn't? Demania therefore grew up in a single parent home where her mother worked consistently overnight so that she can still be with her during the days while her mother put herself as well through school, cosmetology, graphic design, and web design. This family has come so far, but not far enough from these bars that separate them. Dun dun dun. Yes, yes, y'all. Can I reach my back to pat myself on the back? Girl, how did y'all like that writing? Let me know. Was that a good written, well written article? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. And then just across from it is the Daddy Daughter Dance. That's the children's book I'm working on with my daughter. Yeah, she's a little author. He's an author. He's written 3 books. So we all kind of write and stuff. So this is the cover, Daddy Daughter Dance. Dee misses her dad. All she wants is for him to accompany her to the dance. Dee wants nothing more than for her father to be able to accompany her to the father-daughter dance. This story does not have a fairy tale ending though, because Dee's father is away in jail. This children's book was written by Money, the daughter of a Florida inmate, and illustrated by Cadillac, his wife, coming soon where books are sold. Girl, we speaking that into existence. That's really coming. Shit, we gonna do that. We are doing that. Yes. And then there's the feature article. But we're gonna continue this in another video because this is getting really long. I don't know how it ends up being that long. I do not try to do that. So we're gonna stop right there. I will do a part 2. And this magazine, I want to send this to senators, the senators, the committee members. Like that's a thought. Like when we're sending our letters of how we feel about these bills, this is an email link. I can email you this as well. And this looks, more humanized, not numerized, or whatever. But as I promised, oh, my computer is like overheating. I hope I'm able to edit out all that static. That's actually the air from the computer like heating up. I have a old Mac, but it still works. So Cadillac don't get rid of nothing until it just don't work at all. But so the first song I said I was gonna do, the first song was "It Could Have Been Me." It could have been me. All right. And I performed this at a prayer breakfast for my aunt. You see, this tell you how long ago it was. I got on G Unit. Anyway, but I performed it. And needless to say, when I went into church, that zipper one dropped down like that. I know how to walk up in the church. But anyway, it could have been me. It could have been me. I could have been dead and gone, but Lord, you allowed me to breathe another day, and you allowed me to carry on. It could have been me, with no food to eat, no shoes upon my feet, and if it wasn't for your grace, then Lord, it would have been me. Every morning, gotta give God thanks for a new day. It's a lot of my homies that was here yesterday. They're not here today. So I gotta be thankful. Thank God that I'm still here. No matter what situations I face, only thing that matters is I'm still here. I made it 30 plus years. That's so much to thank God for. It's a lot of folks out there, man, I make it past 21 because the killing us. And on top of that, we keep killing ourselves. And if we don't end up dead, then we end up doing 20 to life in jail. See, that's another life wasted. Another life gone down the drain. And you never know that life, it could have had the cure to AIDS. We haven't really, I mess up at the end. We're living in the last days. But if we're not, well, then we're really mighty close. Cause nowadays, everything's alright, man. Anything goes. It could have been me. I could have been dead and gone. Oh, Lord, you allowed me to breathe another day. You allowed me to carry on. It could have been me. with no food to eat, and no shoes upon my feet. And if it wasn't for your grace, then Lord, it would have been me. It could have been me. I could have been behind them bars. Thank God it ain't me. But my heart there, my heart's behind them bars. Okay, here's the second that I promised you, single mother. I ain't did this one in so long. This was one of my first raps on my first album. That first album that flopped. People weren't feeling that album, but they were feeling that second one. Yes, dog. But okay, single mother. To all my single mothers out there by force, not choice. I know that you can make it, but the choice is yours if you never give up. Never throw in the tie. Keep your head up, you'll make it out somehow. My single mothers out there by force, not choice. Know that you can make it, but the choice is yours. Oh, did I just snap off beat? Never give up, never throw in the towel. Keep your head up, you make it out somehow. Things get rough and you're feeling all alone. No, it's not fair to make that baby on your own. But whoever told you life will be fair, and whoever say your baby daddy will stay there. 35% are locked in jail. 35% don't even give a damn. That only leaves 30% true pops. So them 30%, I must give them props. See, some mamas got to work 2 jobs, they never home. Some mamas got to slip, they gotta slide down that pole. But they do what they gotta do to take care of they seed. Cause nothing in this life is a guarantee. Yeah, things get rough, but they ain't impossible. For answers that you need, you better search deep inside of you. You gonna have to find some way to make it through. Cause them kids got no one else, they depending on you. To all my single mothers out there by force, not choice. Know that you can make it, but the choice is yours if you never give up. Never throw in the towel. Keep your head up, you'll make it out somehow. All my single mothers out there by force, not choice. Know that you can make it, but the choice is yours if you never give up. Never throw in the towel. Keep your head up, you'll make it out somehow. Example, people talk about the things that Kim do, but they don't know what hell she been through. Let's say your baby was hungry, ain't had no food. You sure you wouldn't be tempted to steal it for him? Let's say you just lost your job, couldn't pay your rent. You sure you wouldn't be tempted to go and strip? See, one slide down that poker be a hot meal. Or one more lap dance could pay a couple bills. This situation is a mother. Yeah, I know, because I'm also doing it by myself. And every time I try to do the right thing, it's like I always end up catching hell. I'm sympathizing with this mother. Yeah, taking time to look at every single fact. And even though she might not always do the right things, she always got good intentions. And all my single mothers out there by force, not choice. Know that you can make it, but the choice is yours if you never give up. Never throw in the towel. Hey, keep your head up, you make it out somehow. All my single mothers out there by force, not choice. Hey, know that you can make it, but the choice is yours if you never give up. Never throw in the towel. Just keep your head up, you'll make it out somehow. Yeah, it's your girl Cadillac.
It's a Cadillac.